Chapter 35 to 36. With a splash, Kaoru Asano's foot stepped into a puddle, soaking the hem of her pants. What bad luck, she thought, frowning slightly. She hurriedly entered the house, pushing the door open and stepping inside. The moment she entered, her body went rigid with terror. A tall man stood silently in the center of the room. His muscular form was concealed beneath a black robe, and a bird-like mask gave him a menacing appearance. It was Owl. "You've become too careless, Yami," Owl said slowly. "Normally, you would have noticed the bent grass in the yard and had more time to escape. Maybe you could have survived a bit longer." "Owl-sama." Kaoru swallowed hard, not daring to kneel as she usually would. She couldn't afford to slow herself down. But how had he seen through her? Owl shook his head, staring at his subordinate. "After all this time, you've finally slipped up. When you hurriedly tried to get me to leave Omegakure, it raised my suspicion. Why did you want me gone? I guessed you were hiding something." "Just because of that?" Kaoru asked bitterly. "Anyone with a single suspicious trait is likely guilty of much more. You know how I earned the name Owl." Owl, a member of Root, was infamous for his ruthless and bloody reputation. In his eyes, there was no room for punishment, only execution. Kaoru gritted her teeth, knowing the man before her had made up his mind. She coldly retorted, "Owl, haven't you thought that one day Danzo-sama might kill you? Even within Root, many want you dead for your excessive killing." "You're wrong, Yami. I won't die," Owl replied. "To Danzo-sama, I am a tool. As long as I get the job done, it doesn't matter how many I kill. You, on the other hand, are a disposable asset, easily replaceable." "A tool?" "Humph. Owl, have you forgotten? The first Hokage created the village to prevent shinobi from becoming mere tools of war. The first Hokage was a great shinobi, but he couldn't change the world's true nature," Owl said, pointing at himself and then at Kaoru. "I am Danzo-sama's tool. You are my tool. And Yuto Hyuga is a tool for both the third Hokage and the Hyuga clan. You deceived me to leave Omegakure. Yuto Hyuga has been hiding here for a month. Tools rebelling against their masters is a grave crime. A tool must fulfill its duties and stay on its path. Any deviation means it is no longer a proper tool. Luckily, I'm here. I'll dispose of you and report everything Yuto Hyuga has done to Danzo-sama. Suspected of amassing wealth, being deeply involved with the Akatsuki, developing powerful new jutsu. The information you provided this month has been very detailed, Yami." Bang! Before Owl could finish, Kaoru smashed through the window, her feet barely touching the ground before her chakra exploded, leaving a shallow crater as she sped away. "Run! Run!" She had to escape, her inner voice screamed. She covered 10 meters in a blink, but her vision blurred and her throat burned. Strength drained from her limbs like a broken dam. Owl appeared before her. Blood dripped from his hand, which held a chunk of her throat. "I told you, tonight you're too careless and hasty. You didn't even notice my feigned lapse. As a tool, you only amounted to this." With a crash, Kaoru's body hit the wall, her bones snapping. "Tool disposed of," Owl muttered, crouching beside her as she took her last breaths. "Huh." Owl pried open Kaoru's hand, finding a seashell. A seashell. Clutching it even in death. Takeda couldn't remember how many times he'd checked the time. It was now past midnight. At first, he thought, women, always late, and patiently waited. But as time slipped by, anxiety gnawed at him. Did Kaoru return to Konoha? The thought tormented him as he stood under the red signpost. Fear wrapped around him. Had something happened to Kaoru, he could no longer stay put. He left the signpost, desperately searching the streets for her. He knew where Kaoru's house outside the base was. With little hope, he decided to check there, praying for a clue. Omegakure was deserted after midnight. Though not under curfew, the constant rain made it an uninviting place for nightlife. The streets were almost empty, save for a few open bars. These places were popular, offering warmth and a chance to escape the cold rain. Takeda ran through the chilly streets, his experience allowing him to quickly assess people. He soon stopped, frozen in place. In one of the bars, a tall man sat with his back to him. The man wore a black robe and lazily toyed with a white seashell stained with blood. In an instant, Takeda understood. Rage erupted, obliterating his reason. Was it a trap? Should he seek help or plan an ambush? None of these thoughts registered. Before he knew it, he was charging at Owl with his wing blades drawn. Boom! The sharp chakra weapons struck the table. A shinobi losing his mind falls for such simple tricks. How amusing! In the rainy night, Owl laughed maniacally. Yuto walked through the cold, rainy night, holding an umbrella. The natives of Amegakure didn't like using umbrellas. For them, rain was normal weather and sunny days were rare. They were so accustomed to the rain that using an umbrella seemed unnecessary. Yuto, a branch family member, was in high spirits. This trip had been fruitful. He acquired wealth, established a secret base in the land of hot water, and made contact with the Akatsuki. With Nagato's help, he perfected the lion's fang bite, securing his place in the shinobi world. It was time to return to the village, he thought, heading towards the edge of Amegakure. Suddenly, his foot landed in a puddle, and Yuto noticed an unusual sticky sensation. Activating his Byakugan, he saw through his body and discovered a bloodied piece of flesh stuck to his shoe. In the vast field of his vision, a man's figure appeared. It was Takeda Takeshi. He was sitting in a filthy alley, leaning against a wall. Blood and entrails seeped out of him, mixing with the accumulating rainwater and flowing towards Yuto's feet. Yuto hesitated, but then walked into the alley, approaching Takeda. With just a glance using his Byakugan, Yuto sighed. Green light gathered in Yuto's palm as he performed medical ninjutsu on Takeda. After a while, Takeda slowly woke up, coughing up blood. Yuto retracted his hand and softly said, "I'm sorry. Your internal organs are destroyed. Even if my sensei were here, they couldn't save you. You have a few minutes left. As we've been neighbors for a month, I can relay a message for you. Any last words?" Takeda's voice was hoarse to the extreme. "No. The person to hear my last words died before me." External chakra stimulation, coupled with a burst of energy before death, temporarily improved Takeda's condition. Ignoring his abdominal wound, his face looked normal. "I see," Yuto nodded, standing calmly before Takeda. "I'll watch over you as you pass. Even shinobi feel sorrow dying alone." "You're a kind person, Yuto-kun," Takeda murmured, hesitating. "There's a sake shop with a gourd sign on the nearby street. Can you fetch me a jug? Quickly, please. I'm afraid I'll be back." Yuto disappeared using the body flicker technique and soon returned. He knelt down, holding the jug, and slowly poured sake into Takeda's mouth. Takeda coughed violently but breathed comfortably. Good sake. On a rainy night like this, strong liquor warms the body. Yuto glanced down. The sake barely stayed in Takeda's esophagus before flowing out. His body was severely damaged. His internal organs had fallen out, and his spine was broken. Takeda was alive only due to Yuto's chakra. Impressive technique, Yuto frowned. Attacked from behind, your body opened up. A swordmaster like you, caught off guard. Ha! The attacker wore a bird face mask. I asked for his name. He said Owl. Must be from Konoha. He was really arrogant, you know. I think he knew. I was alive. But he didn't care. Takashi began to mumble, his eyes growing hazy from the blood loss. One of our elite was sent to kill you? Yuto asked. Hearing his voice, Takashi's eyes refocused, and he whispered, probably to clean house. Kaoru, she was your spy. Yuto clicked his tongue and continued feeding Takeda sake. Slow down. This sake is strong. Takeda Takeda mumbled. My tongue feels numb. Because you're dying. Ah. Takeda slumped against the wall, death claiming his last vitality. He thought hard, then weakly said, Behind me to the right, about 200 meters, there's a package with lots of money. It's yours, for keeping me company. After these words, Takeda's body rapidly weakened. In seconds, his face darkened and his voice grew faint. Yuto barely caught his last whisper, mixed with the rain. Kaoru, I just wanted to take you somewhere nice. But why? A broken shell fell from his cold hand. In the alley, Yuto stared at Takeda's body for a long time. Things had become more complicated, he thought. Kaoru Asano was a spy, so close to him. She likely reported all his actions this month. Killing targets outside the village doesn't seem like standard ANBU work. This level of secrecy and ruthlessness, could it be root? Being noticed by Danzo is bad news. Yuto sighed, knowing he had one more person to guard against upon returning to the village. Danzo Shimura, notorious for his schemes, orchestrated the ambush on the Eimei orphans and Shisui Uchiha's eye theft. Should he pursue and eliminate Owl now? Yuto considered. No, Danzo might already have intel on me. This is too risky. If Owl escapes, I'd be a target and forced to defect. I'm not strong enough yet. Yuto thought deeply, covering Takeda's body with a curtain. Takeda Takeshi, Kaoru Asano, though we're not friends. But we're alike in some ways. Most people wouldn't dare bark, but we, foolish ones, draw blades against fate. His hand paused. In the cold, rainy night, a spark of madness ignited in the young man's heart. You can't win without taking risks. He shook the sake jug, drinking it all. The intense flavor and aroma burned his throat, warming his stomach and dispelling the night's chill. His emotions surged. Something stronger than sake roared within him. Chakra swirled violently, almost like a tidal wave. Good sake, Yuto chuckled, tossing the jug aside. In the next moment, he dashed into the rain, gaining speed. The rain hitting him evaporated instantly, forming a long trail of steam, like a scorching blade.